Hey everyone, welcome back to the Logic Lab. Today we're talking about algorithms. Now, before you switch off thinking this is a dry computer science lecture, stick with me. Algorithms aren't just for coders, they are basically the invisible recipes we use every single day to solve problems. Whether you're organizing your desk or deciding which route to take to avoid traffic, you're running an algorithm. Today, I'm going to break down the big ones using examples that actually make sense. First, we have brute force, the try everything method. Imagine you are at your front door and you have a massive ring of 20 identical keys. You have no idea which one opens the deadbolt. What do? You try the first one, it doesn't work. You try the second, then the third, and then the fourth. That is brute force. It's not fancy, and it's definitely not fast. But if you have the time, it's 100% guaranteed to work. In the digital world, this is how a computer might try to guess a simple password, just trying every possible combination until it clicks. Second, we have divide and conquer, the big clean. Now imagine your boss hands you a massive box of 1,000 messy business receipts and says, sort these by date. Looking at the whole pile is overwhelming. Instead, you use divide and conquer. You split the pile in half, then you give the half to a friend. You both split your piles again and again until you are only looking at tiny stacks of 5 receipts. Those are easy to sort. Then you just merge your sorted tiny stacks back together. By breaking the big problem into tiny ones, you finish in half the time. Third, we have greedy algorithms, the instant gratification. Let's talk about being greedy. Imagine you're at a self-serve candy wall. You have a small bag and you want to fill it with the most expensive chocolate possible. A greedy algorithm tells you, look at the bins, find the most expensive truffle, and cram as many as you can in the bag. You don't think about the future or if there's a better mix. You just make the best possible choice right now. It's great for quick decisions, even if it's not always a perfect long-term strategy. First, we have backtracking, the maze runner. Have you ever been in a corn maze or a complicated IKEA? You walk down a hallway, realize it's a dead end, and what do? You don't just stay there forever. You walk back to the last turn you made and try the other direction. That's backtracking. You explore a path, realize it's a fail, and you go back to the last safe spot and try a different route. This is how computers solve Sudoku puzzles. Filling in a number, realizing it breaks the rules later on, and then undoing it to try a different number. Fifth, we have dynamic programming, the smart note taker. This one sounds intimidating, but think of it as avoiding extra work. Imagine I ask you, what is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1? You count them up and say 4. Now, if I add another plus 1 to the end, do you go back and count them from the beginning? No. You remember that the first part was 4 and you just add the new one to get 5. That's dynamic programming. You solve the small parts and remember the answers, so you never have to calculate the same thing twice. Sixth, we have heuristics. This is something I have already talked about in my previous episodes. Heuristics is a good enough shortcut. These are your rules of thumb. If you are looking for a restaurant in a city you don't know, you might have a rule. If the place is crowded, the food is probably good. Is that a mathematical certainty? No. Could you be wrong? Sure. But it's a shortcut that helps you make a decision quickly without reading every single review on the internet. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So the next time you're retracing your steps to find your lost keys or sorting your laundry into smaller piles, remember, you're basically a living, breathing algorithm. Thanks for listening to the Logic Lab. Catch you in the next one.